Hey guys, recently I built my first computer and I'm gonna answer some of your questions because I read on Reddit that some of you have been wondering whether NZXT H1 is actually compatible with the Ryzen 7000 series CPUs. So I have here Ryzen 9 950X and combined with a B650E motherboard from Asus. This machine is actually V2. As you can see, it has 3 USB ports, so it's a V2 machine. I ordered this one at the time of Ryzen 5000 series CPUs, so the manuals are mentioning only 5000 series CPUs and don't account for 7000 series. And some of you have been wondering whether the AIO cooler is actually compatible with the 7000 series CPUs. Spoiler alert, it is right out of the box, and I'm gonna show you how it performs, whether it's able to cool down the machine or how it does with the 16-core Beast CPU. Alright, now I'm going to show you a little bit of performance, and I'm gonna mention a few programs to not to forget to install. First one is NZXT Cam, which is the controller from NZXT to control rear fan, which is the new one, the small one that was added to V2 version, and the large one, the CPU fan. You can set up your own curve to cool it as quiet as possible, let's say. And pump has no settings because it runs on a full throttle all the time, but you can hear it. But otherwise, it's a quite loud computer when the vent is turned your direction, which is this side with the mesh on the side, so you can quite hear it even when it's idle. It's idling on about 49 degrees and 5.4 gigahertz. You can watch during this video on this widget how it does. And I have here also task manager, so you can see how each thread handles the workload. And the good piece of software is actually Ryzen Master. These Ryzen 7000 series CPUs are quite known for running much hotter than the previous ones. So you can use this tool to overclock or undervolt your CPU. So this is the default state, and I'm gonna show you how it does under full load. We can see wattage and other metrics. So the best way I can show you is actually to run CPU miner. So let's try it out. And we can see all the threads are starting to ramp up. Temperature is rising. We can see where the clock sets. As you might have seen, something like boost to 5.8 gigahertz is actually for single-threaded workloads. So the multi-threaded workload is somewhere around 5.1 gigahertz. So this is under full load default settings. CPU is pulling about 163 watts, which is quite a lot. Temperature is about 90 degrees. So this is what you get. And the fan is on 100%. We can see how much hash rate we get on a Monero. So it's close to 20,000. And that's it. And let's try to underclock and undervolt the machine. So I'm gonna jump into basic view for a moment, and I'm gonna undervolt it to 1.04 volts and 4.8 gigahertz. Right now we are about 1.266 volts, so it's quite large undervolting, and we run on 5.2 gigahertz. So let's see how much the performance drops. So we have right now almost 20,000 hash, and if I apply it, you can also see on a widget how the temperature goes down, how the clock went down. The workload is still 100%, and let's see what's the hash rate. So let's try. It's still about 19,000, so we lost, I don't know, maybe less than 5% of performance, and the temperature went down to 68 degrees. It often settles on this temperature, and that's quite nice result, because if we look at the power consumption right now, it was 163 watts, it's 87. So we slashed it almost in a half and lost almost no performance, especially on a multi-threaded workload, which is very, very nice. And I prefer to set it on the go, because if you set it on a motherboard, you can't probably change it in a software later. So when I play games or something, I can unlock the full single threaded performance, so it can boost to 5.7 gigahertz for this model. And that's it. And some of the building experience I forgot to mention is probably how it went. So you have to only change the bracket on a AIO pump, so you can mount it on a motherboard, because defaultly it was pre-installed with the Intel one, and it's included in a box. So it might be mentioning Ryzen 5000 series CPUs, but it fits on a 7000 series, which is totally fine. And I used stock heat thermal paste, which is not always recommended, but I used it and turned out to be quite okay, I guess. So that's it. If you have any more questions, leave them in the comments. I think I was quite pleasantly surprised with this machine. I don't have GPU installed because I wait for RX 7000 series, not the highest one, but some mid-range GPUs. But the CPU does quite well. You can run Miner on the background. It sits on quite okay temperatures, and I guess most of you will be running something like 8-core CPUs, which is totally fine, and this machine can handle it like a champ. So that's it. I hope you learned something, and don't be afraid to build your NZXT H1 V2 with the Ryzen 7000 series CPUs. So that's it. Thanks for watching.